Traffic stops. So it's up to you and it's up to me. We have to get a hold of our Constitution, and you start learning that Constitution, quote it chapter and verse, and guess what? You'll notice a unique different change. One, after a while, they start to listen. Any you actually affect positive change, and every time they see you they, oh, for God's sake, Dante, give that guy a ticket. If he actually been pulled over with no plates on my car, and a friend of mine recorded this off the police radio. Do you have positive ID on the guy? He said, yeah, it's him. They said, Dante, give that guy a ticket. But Sarge, he doesn't have any plates on his car. I don't give a damn what he has. Don't give that guy a ticket. But Sarge, he told me he has just been waiting to fight it and beat it all the way to the Supreme Court, and I wrote that on the ticket. You gave that guy a ticket. I just told you not to give that guy a ticket. What are you? Deaf. You got some problem with your hearing. But he didn't have plates on his car. The Sarge said, fine, you gave him a ticket. Fine. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock I want you to be here when the city attorney comes in and you're going to personally deliver the ticket to him, and he ain't going to like it. He ain't gonna be real happy with you. He hates that guy. Every time he goes to court, that guy blows his doors off. He looks like a fool. So we go to court. I come up before the court, and the judge starts acting like a prosecutor. He starts asking me all kinds of discovery questions. Now, this is very important. If you're going to be your own attorney, you have to know the program. When you hear him call your case, you get off your tail feather, and you run right up there as quickly as you can without knocking anybody down, and you say, ready, Your Honor. You state your appearance. Am so-and-so, here before this honorable court. I am standing as 38. My own counsel. I've appointed myself my own attorney, and I am ready to proceed with my administrative and procedural matters. And at this time, Your Honor, may it please the court, I motion for dismissal with prejudice for failure to state a cause of action for which relief can be granted. The judge bips off right away. Well, you got a ticket on such and such a. I said, whoa, Your Honor, are you the disinterested third party that's going to try this case? The trier of fact. He said, yes. I said, is this the prosecutor over here to my right? He said, yeah, that's him. I said, okay, are you going to prosecute this case, Your Honor? He said, no, am the judge. I said, then why are you asking discovery questions? That his job. Isn't he that what he is supposed to do? He is supposed to present his case as the prosecutor, trier of the case. You re the trier of fact, and he is the trier of the case. If you re going to act as the judge and the prosecutor of the case, I am going to object, on the record, as a mistrial, as an appealable issue. Okay, it is on the record. Now let me ask you this. Did you get a ticket on Sept 30th? I said, yes, sir. Do you have any plates on your car? No, and I don't intend to. He said, I assume you have a very good reason for that. I said, yes, sir, and I shut up. I waited. He said, can I hear it? Well, Your Honor, I am an unenfranchised common law freeman. I am not a participant in any tontine schemes and limited liability on a joint venture for profit with an insurable interest requiring me to participate in these corporate Ponzi schemes. I am just a little Joe from Kokomo. I live on the block. I travel at the common law. 39. I have a right to travel freely and unencumbered pursuant to Shapiro v. Thompson, and that right is so basic it doesn't even need to be mentioned. The state of California arbitrarily and erroneously converted my right into a privilege and issued a license plate and a fee for it. Murdoch v. Pennsylvania says no state may convert a secured right into a privilege and issue a license and a fee for it. And if they do, Shuttlesworth v. Birmingham, Alabama says I can ignore the license and engage in the right with impunity. That means you can punish me. Since I've relied on previous decisions of the U.S. Supreme Court and on constitutional defenses, I have a perfect defense for willfulness. I am immune to the prosecution. Therefore, the prosecution does not have a cause of action for which relief can be granted. I motion for dismissal with prejudice for failure to state a claim of action for which relief can be granted, and I would like to collect my costs and fees for having to defend this frivolous case." The judge laughed and said motion granted, and he left the bench. So I am telling you that you can effect change. Knowledge is power. You know your constitution and you will have that power. An unconstitutional act, wrongfully done, is still wrong and unconstitutional. The reality is that the person that is properly motivated, properly willing and properly trained to do whatever is necessary and proper to defend the Constitution will almost always prevail on the merits. The reality is that the burden is on you. You want your Constitution, then you damn well better grab a hold of it, and you better hold on tight, and don't let go for nothing. Now I want to get into some of these other subjects. Traffic cases. This is the most practical way to deal with these traffic cases. When you are pulled over, what is happening? Now you have a policeman and he is conducting discovery. Anything you say can and will be held against you, and if you don't think so, just keep rattling. And it will all get written down on the ticket. I found that out and told the officer I've just been waiting to get this ticket so I can fight it all the way to the Supreme Court. I wrote that word for word right on the ticket. When these people are with you, you keep your hatch buttoned. If you say anything at S, yes sir, no sir, what can I do for you sir? They always like to say something like, going a little fast, were we? I say, I neither admit nor deny, and I leave you to your proofs in court. 40. Oh, a lawyer. No, I am not a lawyer. I am smart enough to know to keep my mouth shut, 'cause I realize that anything I say is gonna be put down on your paper. If you have a charge, you make it, and I'll see you in court. Oh, you want to go to court? Oh yeah, I always go to court. I fight everything like murder one. It is kinda like hobby of mine. Well, let us see what we get. And they walk back to the car and they start writing. Or they usually come back and say, well, you were going a little fast, think about slowing down. We're going to let you off with a warning. You have a good day. Always be courteous. I can blow their doors off any time I want. But still, yes sir, no sir. Courtesy pays. You treat people the way you want to be treated, and 9 times out of 10 you will benefit. You treat people like a Yahoo, and you're going to be treated like a Yahoo yourself. So I highly recommend courtesy as an effective way. I had a policeman one time tell me, you ever eat a flashlight? The hard way. I looked at him and I said, quite frankly, officer, most of the officers we run into are extremely professional, and I treat them with a great deal of courtesy and professionalism, 'cause I respect what they doing, that they risk their life every day. And at no time would I give an officer enough static that he would want to make me eat a flashlight. I mean, I treat them very cordially. And I respect what they trying to do. I don't agree with everything they trying to do, 'cause some of the stuff is kinda unlawful, but I will give them the courtesy they have coming. He turned to me and said, I am sorry. V got a big mouth. I didn't mean it. You rewrite. I was out of line. See, you treat people with courtesy, and 9 times out of 10 you can even back down some guy, talking a lot of manure. But the louder you talk, the more belligerent you are, the louder and more belligerent he will become. Remember, the best weapon you have is between your ears, so use it. Now we've gone past that and you have a ticket. Now what do? 41. Wow, look on the ticket, see if he signed it. A lot of times they don't sign it. Guess what? If he didn't sign it, there ain't no sworn complaint. How can you defend against a non-sworn complaint? A lot of times a cop doesn't sign the ticket. Look, open your eyes. Hey, this guy didn't sign it today. It says under penalty of perjury I attest and certify this is a true in fact complaint. Well, what happens if they don't sign it? It ain't a complaint. Now the next thing you have to do is notify the court within the time period, which is usually 10 days. One of their dirtiest tricks is you call in and you think you got it noticed, and guess what? They claim you didn't call in. And they go ahead and say that you didn't show up. Then they find you guilty and bingo, you're out of there. So I recommend that you call them, tell them that you want a formal hearing, ask the name of the party you are speaking to, so that you have a name of somebody who works there who you talk to verify that you called. Then immediately or sooner type up a little notice that says, I do hereby request a formal hearing, and send it to them certified mail or run down there, walk right in and get them to set up a hearing. You want a formal hearing. 5 days before that hearing, you are required to serve your papers on opposing counsel. If you don't do it in a timely fashion, you will not be able to enter your briefs. Sometimes you can get away with it the last minute by handing it to them and they won't say anything. But if they want to hammer you, they can use the 5-day court rule. I have used it effectively several times. Now look at what it says on the complaint. See what they say you violated, and you go down to the local law library, and you look up exactly what they say, and then you enter a defense. I neither admit nor deny, and I leave you to your strictest proofs in a competent court of law of original jurisdiction. But before we go there, you need to choose exactly how you want to proceed. If you want to be the hardest hard nose you can, you don't file any papers at all. And as soon as you call the case, you go to the front as quickly as possible, and you say in a loud and clear voice, "Ready, Your Honor." You give your full name and say, "I am appearing in court in propria persona," which means in your own proper person. I appointed myself my own attorney, and I am ready to proceed with my administrative and procedural matters. And at this time, Your Honor, may it please the court, I motion for dismissal with prejudice for failure to state a cause of action for which relief can be granted. All of a sudden the cop will go, especially if you wear an army jacket and you look like you re 3 sheets in the wind. The cop leaned back and goes, "Oh crap, we gonna get sued." I didn't 42. No, the guy was a lawyer. Then he starts taking to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor will go, "Turkey. You brought me one of those, huh? I am gonna get killed. And you gonna sit here and pay for it, I promise you." Then what happens is out of your mouth you tell the judge in the most clearest and expedient language, "Your Honor, may it please the court, is this a court of law or is it a court of equity?" He will immediately respond with, "There's no equity here," just like he got hit in the knee with a hammer, and his leg jumped. And just that fast it'll happen, because he thinks there's no lawsuit here and therefore there's no equity. The judges don't even understand what happened with this shift from 1962 when they moved these courts together, so you have to find out what hat the judge is wearing. Is he wearing a criminal hat or a civil hat? You have a right to ask. You quickly say, "Judge, is this a court of equity or a court of law?" We just did this in a beautiful case. This little gal, she couldn't have been 80 pounds soaking wet. The cop was about 6'2", about 320, big heavy-duty state trooper. She walks in, "Your Honor, I am representing myself as my own counsel. I would like to proceed with my administrative and procedural matters, but before we go, I have a declaratory ruling, sir. Could I ask you a question?" "Oh, sure, honey. Go ahead. But you understand only a fool stands as his own attorney." "That may be, sir, but I am the best person that knows the facts of my case, and I think I have a chance I'd like to try. Is that okay?" "No problem. You have that right." She asked, "Is this a court of equity or a court of law?" The judge immediately, "There's no equity here." She said, "Thank you, sir." She rolled up her hand, and in her hand was a ticket that said civil infraction, and she said, "How may we hear this civil infraction, sir?" The judge did a Homer Simpson. He goes, "Hup, so that's where you're going with this, huh?" The whole court broke out laughing. They realized that the judge did a Homer Simpson. Then the judge realized he did a Homer Simpson, and he started laughing. 43. He goes, "Oh, you're not going to pull that here today, are you?" She thought for a minute and said, "Yes, I am, sir." And everybody started laughing again. The cop then goes, "Well, if they are going to play around like this, I am going to put 15 over on the ticket, Judge." The judge say, "No, you've got what's on the ticket, and you're not changing the ticket after the fact. If it was 15 over, you should have written 15 over." The cop said, "Well, I just don't want to screw around. This is getting out of hand. She was guilty, Your Honor." She goes, "Your Honor, we haven't even got to that, Your Honor. There's no jurisdiction. This is where we at no jurisdiction." The judge says, "All right, are we going to go through with this? Tell me the truth. Yes, I am, sir. I am going all the way to the Supreme Court, she said. The judge goes, okay. Now, we're going to have to set a hearing. She says, and ID like a formal hearing too, sir. And a trial by jury, sir, because the value in controversy is in excess of $20, and pursuant to the 7th Amendment, I have a right to trial by jury. He said, okay, we'll send you notice. It has been 312 weeks and no notice. We call them every day, and they won't even talk about this case. The only reason they said that was so all the poor little people in the courtroom didn't get the idea that they could get up there and do the same thing this little gal did. They were not going to call her back, 'cause they got no jurisdiction. They were not going to try that case because she s going to blow their doors off. Now that s one of the most beautiful tact s, and the fastest. The last time I did it I was before a particularly obnoxious judge, and he basically said to me, how many times have you pulled this? I said, about a dozen, Your Honor. Oh, going for lucky 13, huh? This is very clever, but I am going to give you some advice, young man. Don't ever get caught doing nothing in my town again. Got me? I said, sir, I never try to do anything. I always try to be a gentleman. 44. He said, well, you better not get caught doing nothing, 'cause I will hammer your tail. I said, does that mean the case is dismissed, Your Honor? He says it is dismissed. You out of here. I am telling you this works, and it works real well.